This is TWiT.
This is Shortcuts Corner, the part of the show where you write in with your shortcuts requests, and Rosemary Orchard, our shortcuts expert, provides a response. Although this week, the person writing in with a request is not a person, but a company, and it is a company that has come out with lots of new features, and Rosemary is going to tell us about them. Rosemary, take it away.
Yes. Yeah. So there is a lot going on with shortcuts right now. I already mentioned some of the new features last week and demoed creating shortcuts with AI, because honestly, that is a game changer. And I still am very much up for somebody, if you have a request for iOS today and you want to send it into Shortcuts Corner, but you want to try it with AI as well, absolutely do both, and send me the link to the creative one as well, because I would love to do a compare and contrast after I create your shortcut for you. I think that would be a really great feature for us. But one of the biggest things now in shortcuts is, I mentioned this last week, when you open it, it wants to create a shortcut for you, but you can tap on the 3 blocks button in the top right to go into the actions, but you can't create an automated shortcut through a particular tab anymore. Instead, you select the automation actions inside of shortcuts, which then reveals all of the triggers that you can use. So you can have time of day, alarm, sleep, arriving and leaving places, messaging, emails, airplane mode, etc. You can have now when a particular, or when a keyboard is connected, which is pretty awesome. When you tap a wallet card or pass, these ones aren't new. And then there is a brand new one right here. Notifications. So when you get a notification, say maybe from Outlook, which you could use for work, then it can, do a particular thing, like maybe flash the light on your phone because you want to be notified about work things. Personally, I wouldn't do that. I would invert it and flash for the things that are important outside of work for me. But that's how up to you to choose your work-life balance. But this is a really cool feature. So you can say, hey, when I get a notification, you have to select a particular app. So I'll say 1Password, for example. And when I had nothing selected, people might have called that there. I'll just clear that. It says automation is invalid. And this is something that is a really cool feature. Big fan of that, because it's there going, hey, I can't do this automation right now. This is not going to work. So you can expand this to say run immediately, and whether or not to notify when run, it defaults to running immediately. And there are filters where you can specify that the title or subtitle or message of the notification contains something in particular. So if you want to change all the lights green in your house when your Uber Eats order is on the way, or when your team scores a particular goal, or a particular team in whatever sport it is you follow scores a goal, then you can do that now, which is amazing. And I'm a really big fan of this. It's something that people have been asking for a long time. So I'm very glad it's here. If you are getting very excited about this and you plan to create 101 automations to do that, there is something known as too much of a good thing. So make sure that you create them slowly and consider in full what might happen. Like, for example, changing the color of the lights in your house every time your team scores a goal. If you ever have to go to bed early, or your team ever plays in another time zone, you may want to consider that. Just factor that sort of thing in, just in case. I'm just giving you a little warning now that you might want to think about that, because I've been on the wrong end of automations I've created for myself more than once in my life. Previously, if you wanted to save data across multiple runs of a shortcut, so you wanted to run a shortcut at 9 o'clock in the morning, and then you wanted to run it again at 5 o'clock, the shortcut you run at 9 o'clock in the morning has a set of data, and then it throws it away, and that data no longer exists. And then if you want that data again when you run a shortcut at 5 o'clock in the afternoon, there's no way to do that unless you do things like save it to a file or use a third-party application like DataJar or something like that, all of which are really great options. So now there is the fantastic feature of store. So storing allows you to save a variable, but for longer. So you can store content, and then if you tap the expansion arrow, and this is very important, you can make this global. So 3 or 5 or 10 shortcuts can access this, or the same shortcut can access it again and again and again. And that can be incredibly useful to just save information. And make it available to you to use. So for example, your next work trip, you could put the date of that in there and then everything can reference it instead of recalculating it time and time again, because that's kind of inefficient. So there is also a new feature for figuring out what's on screen, or it's not a new feature, it's improved. And you basically get a little more context with this. So you can get your on-screen images, calendar events, contacts, messages, mail, etc. There's even voice memos and web pages. And this is just a big improvement, because previously you could figure out what app was open and what app was there when you ran something or triggered a shortcut somehow. And you could kind of get what was on screen, but it didn't work a lot of the time. And the reason why it didn't work was because apps didn't have a standardized way to present that data. And it was kind of just going you're not a web page, can't really do anything with you most of the time. And now it can. So that's really cool. And speaking of messages, because messages, you can get the context of messages on screen. Messages has a brand new action. In fact, it has two: delete conversations and delete messages. So if you want to automate sending something and then deleting it, you can do that. Not perhaps the most useful, but it could be. You could maybe work on trying to find all the messages that say stop in them, because you're trying to unsubscribe from a bunch of spam and then deleting them. So that's pretty useful. There is also a whole bunch of new things. So models, if you're working with AI and you're asking AI to do something, you can now use a Cloud Pro model. And yeah, this is something that actually could have come in useful. It turned out I didn't need it, but I am just going to show folks. This is a shortcut that I created. So I'm going to a conference later this week. So by the time this episode is out, I'll already have been at the conference. But it's called Laravel Live and it's in London. And so I wanted it to grab the conference schedule off the website and add it to my calendar for me. Because the last thing I want to be doing is trying to scroll through a web page 5, 10, 15 times a day to figure out what talk is coming up next. So I got it to do that. And the cloud model did it perfectly for me. So I did try on device. My iPhone got a little warm and then nothing happened for a while. So I sort of gave up on that. So I tried cloud and that actually worked perfectly. And next time I may try Cloud Pro because I have a feeling that there are actually little gaps in between the talks, and it hasn't done that. It's extrapolated that the end of a talk is the start time of the next talk, which is a reasonable, logical approach that I believe somewhere buried in the text on the web page. It actually says that there's a 5 to 10 minute break between every single talk. I certainly remember reading that somewhere. So yes, but yeah, honestly, this was not a perfect shortcut, but the amount of time this saved me overall, being able to say, hey, grab the schedule off of this website, please, and then add it to my calendar. And that's exactly what it did. And now I know all the talks that are happening on Thursday and Friday. So I am very excited for that, because now it'll just pop up on my phone and tell me what's happening next. And the colleagues that I'm going with will once again believe that I have discovered how to control or just witchcraft of some kind, or I've got a perfect memory. And the answer is I do not have a perfect memory. Witchcraft is an option, but honestly, a little bit of automation goes a very long way here, because it can just give you so much detail and make your life much easier if you would like it to. So, yeah.
Hey, if you're enjoying this little bit of iOS today, well, you can check out the full episode. You can head to the website, twit.tv/iOS, or watch the full show right here on YouTube. All you got to do is click that link below.